Anthony Richardson did practice. Are you ranking him?
We are not ranking him yet. He practiced last week as well. We'd like to see him get a full practice in, or at least hear a coach or him express optimism that he's going to play.
Actually, let's instead of going position by position here, because there are so many news items here. We have new quarterback for the Saints, for the Patriots, for the Raiders. But Nico Collins is on IR, and Michael Pittman, Sitman, might join him on IR with a back injury. Have you made any roster moves? Have you picked up Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, anything like that?
No. I think Pierce, like the way he has produced fantasy points so far this season has been remarkable. It completely unsustainable. We hope to see his volume go up. Mitchell, actually, the profile looks a little bit better for him in terms of predicting future success, but he's been pretty awful on the opportunities that he's had. I have no problem picking up either one of them. I wouldn't want to start either one of them. They're not going to be top 48 guys for me, I don't think. And
you'd prefer Pierce or Mitchell? Because also Josh Downs missed practice with a toe injury.
Pierce.
Okay. And that's another thing. So Downs missing practice, guys miss practice on Wednesday all the time.
Right.
Sometimes they miss practice on Thursday. They come back on Friday. Josh Downs, I don't know anything about that injury really, but it is something to keep an eye on here. And obviously, if it's Flacco, even though they're playing Tennessee, that's a pretty big opportunity for those guys. All right, Drake May for New England, Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. Will Levis is expected to start. He's expected to be okay for this game against the Colts. Justin Fields expected to start as Russell Wilson continues to make progress, but not quite there yet. And Spencer Rattler expected to start. So do you want to just... I know the answer to this because you have Jacoby Myers pretty high. But in terms of Las Vegas and New England and New Orleans, do you want to just kind of take a hands-off approach?
New Orleans, yes. We've seen Aiden O'Connell support a viable fantasy wide receiver. It was a pretty tough competition between Minshew and O'Connell, and so I don't really think we're going to see an enormous drop-off there. I'm still starting Jacoby Myers. I'm still starting Brock Bowers. Maybe a little bit of a downgrade for them when I update rankings after the show, but not a significant one.
Bowers, yeah, I forgot. That's kind of an easy one, I guess.
The shirt.
Hey, Jay. Yeah, the shirt. You know what? I was like, I looked at the shirt last night and I said, you know what? I'm not going to let Jamie do this. I'm not going to let him have this impact on my life. I bought this shirt. I'm going to wear this shirt. I'm going to wear it with pride. I'm going to live long and prosper.
You should.
Hello. Who's our start of the week?
I never told you not to wear the shirt.
No, but you really made it hard for me to wear it. I mean, I won't wear it outside of the house. That's for sure. Which I thank you for.
Well, I mean, you could. There's conventions.
I could. Yeah. Comic-Con coming to New York again. I don't know. What do you got? Well, who's our start of the week?
Start of the week is Tony Pollard. Coming off a strong game week 4, sat out week 5 with the bye week. He's been good 3 or 4 games, and the Colts stink. So there's a great opportunity for him just to continue doing what he's doing. And I also think Tyjae Spears is a borderline starter as well, just given how there's a quarterback concern right now. We don't know if Will Levis is going to start. And the last time we saw Mason Rudolph, it was a lot of handoffs. It was 22 carries for Pollard. It was 15 carries for Spears. So if that's the offense, would not be surprising if we get another 15 plus PPR point game for Pollard, which he's done 3 or 4 seasons.
If you're going to click all the comments, Heath, you could at least click the one that says, it's a nice shirt. I'd wear it.
I did. I wasn't clicking all of the comments. I was being very selective in the comments I was clicking.
Well, that's true. Captain Spock. Yeah. All right. I get it. Oh, Captain Spork reporting for duty. Someone wants to know, Amanda wants to know, would you start Pollard against the Colts over Jacobs against the Cardinals?
Yeah, I would. Pollard's had a better season. So why not?
Yeah, I've got Pollard as a top 12 running back this week. I would.
Okay, let's go Tony Pollard. More news items. Derek Carr could miss multiple weeks, by the way, so it's not just one. He's expected, I think, at this point to miss multiple weeks. Running back news. Again, guys missed practice on Wednesday. James Cook missed practice with foot and toe injuries. Zamir White did not practice. They get Pittsburgh. Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon missed practice. Okay, we'll discuss those running backs soon.
That's an interesting one, right?
Is it?
Well, I mean, if they're both out,
maybe the best one of the best run defenses. Tyler Goodson. Oof. Alvin Kamara missed practice with a hand injury. We expect him to be okay. Cordero Patterson's going to be out, but Jalen Warren was actually limited. They said he was doubtful, but Jalen Warren got in a limited session on Wednesday. Ramondre.
See what he said?
No.
He said if it's up to him, he'll play.
All right.
So he said he was surprised by the doubtful designation. He felt good. He looked good in the videos I saw. So, you just wonder if they're going to be cautious with him if he does play, or they're just going to let him go. And clearly it's been 3 weeks now of Najee Harris having the best setup you could ask for. I mean, matchup after matchup has been good. No competition, just in terms of significant players on the roster. They've had to bring up guys off the practice squad. So, if Jalen Warren is healthy and comes in, he could take the job and run away with it.
Yeah. Oh, Najee Harris has been horrible. 3.3 yards per carry. And he's facing the Raiders, who have allowed 15.5 or more PPR fantasy points to a running back in every single game this year. And yet I'm sure we don't have a ton of confidence in Najee Harris because, as you mentioned, last week, or he had a game against the Colts where he had 13 carries for 19 yards against the Colts. That's horrible.
Colts bad, Cowboys bad when the Cowboys couldn't stop the run. Both those games, no Jalen Warren. You couldn't ask for a better situation.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's why we had Warren on our waiver wire show. More running back news. Zach Moss missed practice. Ramondre Stevenson missed practice with a calf issue. Never like calf issues. Dameon Pierce was limited. Joe Mixon missed practice, but Dameon Pierce got in a limited session.
And they actually said that they, I think, expected him to play.
Dameon Pierce?
Yeah.
Is he your favorite Texans running back?
I do not think it'd be like, which is my favorite Star Trek shirt?
I would say Ogunbowale should still be the one you're looking at because I would assume his role in the passing game is probably going to be consistent. The 15 carries that he got, either does that go away or does the 9 carries that Cam Akers got, does that go away? It's probably going to be a messy situation except for Ogunbowale playing on pass downs.
They're at New England. Gus Edwards missed practice coming off the bye. Nick Chubb was limited in practice and has not been ruled out. Nick Chubb might play this week at Philadelphia. And Brian Robinson Jr. missed practice. He didn't play, I think, in the entire second half last week, Brian Robinson Jr. They were blowing out Cleveland, but he came into that game with a knee issue, and he missed practice yesterday. So, Jeremy, if you're desperate, Jeremy McNichols might be someone you want to pick up, and Austin Eckler could see a boost.
Go back to Nick Chubb for a second, just because, and Heath, correct me if I'm saying something wrong here, but we do our show on Wednesdays with Robert Turbin, former NFL running back, and I asked him what he thought of Chubb when he returned, and I'll just reiterate something I said yesterday. Robert was all in on Derrick Henry. He was all in on Saquon Barkley, so he knows the position, I think, fairly well. He said he expects him to still be Nick Chubb. He said his words were, there are unicorns that come along in the NFL, and he's a unicorn, and don't expect him to struggle.
And not just that, but the part that kind of shocked me was he didn't really expect much of a ramp up period. He said when he's back, he's going to be Nick Chubb. Yep.
Nice. Devontae Adams is expected to miss this week's game against Pittsburgh. We already said Michael Pittman's going to be out multiple weeks with a back injury. That's twice on this show, Jamie. You can't stop me. And Josh Downs missed practice with a toe injury. Malik Nabers is improving, but he's still in the concussion protocol, so it's a long time, but he's still not a guarantee to play this week, Malik Nabers. Nico Collins on IR. Khalil Shakir missed practice. Christian Watson practiced. So just as I was dropping Christian Watson, here he comes. He practiced yesterday.
Speaking of that, Jamie, I just for the record on the show to say, I did what I said I was going to do Sunday night. I went into our league. I made a $79 bid on Caleb Williams where Adam dropped him. I went and looked Wednesday morning to see if we got him, and somebody else got him for $50 because Adam changed my bid to $18. So if Caleb Williams is a top 12 quarterback for the rest of the season, I just for the record, twice.
We have Dalton. We're fine.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just tell Dan we're changing the start of the week to Caleb Williams every week for the rest of the season. Could be this week. Jacoby Myers missed practice, and but we expect him to play. And Trey Palmer. So Tampa Bay wide receiver news.
could be important for Kate Otten. Trey Palmer still in the concussion protocol. Jalen McMillan and Cameron Johnson, though, they were limited. Tight end news, Luke Musgrave practiced. Luke Musgrave was actually active in week 5, but didn't play a snap, but maybe he can get out on the field this week. Mike Gesicki missed practice with a hamstring injury, and David Njoku missed practice. He hasn't been ruled out. I don't know what's going on with David Njoku, but we'll keep an eye on him.
His knee injury.
Yeah, but he was supposed to practice, then he didn't. So it's a new.
He's waiting for Jameis. I mean, he knows what's up.
Maybe. For the offensive line, both Chargers offensive tackles practice. They've been playing without them. Both of them practice. They're at Denver coming off their bye. Left tackle Tyler Guyton for the Cowboys has a good chance to play this week. Carolina right tackle Taylor Moton missed practice. Is bad for Andy Dalton. Right tackle Taylor Moton missed practice, and center Austin Corbett is out for the season. On defense, Kayvon Thibodeau is week to week for the Giants edge rusher. He has a wrist injury. He'll miss this week's game. San Francisco, I think Charvarius Ward might be a game time. I don't know if you've seen anything on him. They're a cornerback, but he is questionable. A lot of injuries on the Seahawks defense. And then Christian Wilkins, I already said all this stuff. Cincinnati's going to be without cornerback Dax Hill. Deron Bland
Safety.
I saw him listed as a cornerback.
I believe he moved to safety this year.
Okay. Deron Bland practiced in full for the Cowboys. That would be quite a get for them. He may not play this week. They have a bye next week, but he had, I think, 5 pick sixes last year. And Pittsburgh's defense pretty beat up at the Raiders. Cleveland, this is an interesting one because they're at Philadelphia. Not that you were going to sit the Philly guys anyway, but Grant Delpit's in the concussion protocol. Denzel Ward has a hamstring injury. That's 2 starters in their secondary. The Bucs are getting a little bit healthier. They're at New Orleans. Jair Alexander might be able to play this week against the Cardinals. That might not be good news for Marvin Harrison. And bad news for the Chargers. Edge Joey Bosa off the bye week was not able to practice on Wednesday.